Welcome, everybody. Thanks for being here. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Thanks so much for being here, part of our Spirit Matters family. I'm so glad that you're with us. You know, it's interesting. You and I may have never met, but yet we connect regularly right here. So if you're a regular listener, I'm really grateful for you. And I feel your love through the airways. And if it's your first time or one of your first times, welcome. Thank you for being here. This might be your only time. And maybe this is just a little something that's meant to drop into your life at a right time when you need it. And that's it. And that's what we're here for. And I'm glad to be here with you. And I'm glad to be here with the wonderful Brajrani. She's been our guest this week. Missed her yesterday because she had a commitment that she had to attend to, but she's back here today and will be with us tomorrow. How are you, Brajrani?
I am lovely this morning. It is
Ooh.
raining and that's a part of the seasons and the comings and the goings, and the world needs rain. So this is a beautiful time of year. It's springtime and this renewal, rebirth. The cherry blossoms are still out. I noticed the
Mm.
new leaves on the trees. For those of you who live in a place where you're seeing the seasons change, these like little baby leaves on the trees as they're just, this is my favorite season, and the season I was named after. My given name is spring. So I'm just noticing that, and I'm listening to the sounds of the rain in the background. So good morning.
Krishna says of seasons, he is flower bearing spring.
That is the first thing that Radhanath Swami ever said to me.
Aw, that's so
The
sweet.
very first thing he ever said to me was that.
Yeah. So it's beautiful. So, well, that changed my whole perspective of the day. Me waking up and being like, ugh, what a day, to like, oh my God, this is the most beautiful day in the world. Thank you, God, for rain. And thank you, God, for just everything. Every moment is beautiful right now.
There was a day it was pouring, and Radha Swami was had a program at the Bhakti Center, and it was pouring. And
Mm.
I was doing what I often do, which is greeting or reception or something like that. And I was on the second floor, and people were coming in soaking wet, and umbrellas dripping, and all that kind of stuff. And Maharaj walked up to me and asked how I was doing, and I think I bitched and moaned a little bit about the weather. And he just kind of looked at me, and he was like, this is all from Krishna, and we need it. And I was like, okay, change your perspective, lady. Change
Yeah.
your perspective and see how that changes how you feel. Change how you think about things and see how that changes how you feel.
Yeah. Marj said to us recently, because we had the opportunity to be on a call with him not too long ago, just discussing things about the Bhakti Center. And he was talking about the waves that come to us in life, and that seeing Krishna is ultimately the cause of everything, and that Krishna is the ocean, that we can't understand the waves of life, that sometimes life has these turbulent waves, but we can't disconnect them from the ocean that they are coming from, and to be able to see things as Krishna's Krishna Krishna giving things to us in our life and connecting them back to him. That's very much sort of what we've been reading a little bit here in the Gita. And so like I'll just, if I may, today, verse 4th chapter 24, Krishna talks about a person who's fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because of their full contribution to spiritual activities, in which the consummation is absolute and that which is offered is of the same spiritual nature, which kind of has like this little Upanishadic language that's like the consummation is absolute and which is offered is of the same spiritual nature. But what I take from that, and what I think is being encouraged of us, is the idea is that what does it look like for me to live a spiritual life, and for me to see everything in a spiritual consciousness as not random and just happenstance or bad karma, but actually when I come into spiritual life, when I develop a relationship with Krishna, I start to see the things that happen in my life differently. I'm no longer thinking things of like I'm being punished, or it's just bad karma, or I'm unfair, or I'm not getting my fill, or whatever. But I'm actually seeing Krishna is extending his hand. Like, how is this a loving, caring expression of Krishna right now? And how is this calling me to deeper love and compassion? And that's been a big meditation of mine a lot. is how is Krishna calling me to deeper love and compassion? And so when you're saying is changing your perspective, I was thinking of this just because I was reading this verse beforehand, and I was just thinking about that perspective of a devotee and how they view the things that come into their life and happen in their life.
That made me think of two things, and let's see if I remember the two things. I might not remember either one of them. How is that? Krishna, 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 Krishna. Ah, yes, the first one. When I think I first came across sort of the devotees on Harinam in 2017. And by 2018, I went on the India pilgrimage with the Bhakti Center in January. And I remember really, I mean, I think the one thing that really stood out for me was the first thing, and one of the first things that we were told, and which was that we were on pilgrimage. Things weren't necessarily going to go the way we were expecting them to go. And that the perspective that we needed to have, us Westerners, looking for the bathrooms that the way we expect it to be, or the toilet paper here, or the whatever, was to have this perspective of think this is happening for me, not to me. And that thinking of the universe, thinking of the things I experience in that way, really, really is transformative for me. Back to, I think I was talking the other day about that Krishna is benevolent, and that even if I can't see right now how this is happening for me or to me, that I can trust that it is. My other caveat is that I also can, even if I don't know today, I can always look for something I can make out of this. There's always something I can do, whether it is through this through this difficult time, I am able to connect with someone. I'm connecting with someone I hadn't connected with in a long time, or like we can figure out, like, even if I don't know for sure what his plan is, I actually can be inspired to come up with how can I make this into something that that feels like it's for my good. I often use the example of the woman whose child was killed in Mothers Against Drug Driving, and she, it's an awful, awful thing for a parent to experience. And out of that, she created this sort of national movement, and so I can look at numerous things and say, okay, what am I going to choose to do with this? While I'm also waiting to see how Krishna reveals, and because maybe that revelation, maybe it feels weird waiting for that revelation because I'm still going through this, but it can be helpful to think, okay, what can I do with this? Can I use this to inspire me to do something different in my life that may be unrelated in some way, shape, or form? As that's there's that can help with the perspective too, if I can think through, okay, what can I do with this? It's here. It's actually here. I can't wish it away. It's not going away. But can I do something with this? Can I leverage this in some way into something that that I understand and that gives me a different perspective on the whole thing.
Yeah. And it's a really tall order, but it's also empowering when we fully embrace the idea that I get to choose what type of experience I want to have in my life. And if I was gleaming over this purport as you were speaking about the mood of pilgrimage, because I think that's such a beautiful reference that we can carry. I mean, we go on pilgrimage, we take a trip to India for a week or two, and the idea is we want to take that mood into our daily lives. It's like a condensed charge of spiritual engagement that we want to be able to bring. That mood every day can be a sacred pilgrimage. Every single day can be a sacred pilgrimage if we carry that mood. And if we don't have that mood, we can be in the most holiest places in the world and still just feeling everything we normally feel in our material day-to-day lives. I can be critical and grumpy and, fault finding and blaming and victimizing in the center of the spiritual universe. But I think that when we take that mood into our life, and I think that's what, excuse me, I think that's what Krishna is this particular section of the Gita in this verse that I was reading, that Krishna is trying to share with Arjuna and thus share with all of us, is that bring spiritual consciousness into every aspect of your life. And in the purport here, Srila Prabhupada is talking about material entanglement. And he says, a conditioned soul entangled in material contamination is sure to act in the material atmosphere, yet they have to get out of such an environment. The process by which the conditioned soul can get out of the material atmosphere is, and this is the word that we've been using so often, Krishna consciousness. And then I'm going to skip a few lines. He says, the materially absorbed conditioned soul can be cured by Krishna consciousness as set forth in the Gita. And I think that's exactly what you were saying, is that change of consciousness, this process, the materially absorbed conditioned soul, meaning that like my mind is absorbed in a material way of thinking that's old and outdated, and it can be cured by God consciousness, by like inviting God into the equation, by asking myself the question, what gift is God giving to me right now through this? In what way is this somehow for my betterment? In what way am I able to use this to extend love and compassion to myself and other people? I'm just going to read another sentence or two. This process is generally known as yajna, or activities, sacrifice, simply meant for the satisfaction of Vishnu or Krishna. The more the activities of the material world are performed in Krishna consciousness, the more the atmosphere becomes spiritualized by complete absorption. And so I think that becomes, we even talk about in the yoga world, this idea of samadhi, like absorption. What am I absorbing my mind in? And I think that everything that comes our way is that opportunity to bring that mood of a sacred pilgrimage, of just looking for the ways in which, am I going to look for ways in which I'm the victim and that I'm things are acting against me and everyone's against me? Or I'm going to look for the ways in which Krishna's, like, what is the gift that Krishna's trying to offer me through this? And it becomes the liberating way of existing. It's hard. I can't say I'm good at it, but I know that it's what I want, where I want to be.
I think the interesting thing, because it's a tall order, and yet I think most of us, when we look back retrospectively, we can see it. Like, it's harder when you're in it, but when you can look back and say, okay, because this happened, or because this happened, I went this direction, this fork in the road happened, and this happened, like this sort of, and so we can look with hindsight, we can see it. And that what, at least with that knowledge, that in hindsight we know it to be true, and even if we don't know it to be true in the moment, at least I can have some sort of faith in it and begin to look for it. And as with everything, the hope is, if I think of this thing as a journey, and I've talked about this a little bit, the hope is that, whereas in the same instance last year, it took me 6 weeks to actually begin to have that perspective. Maybe this time when it happens, it takes me 5 weeks to have that perspective. And, 2 years from now, it takes me 4 weeks to have that perspective. I feel like I'm moving along and shortening till some moment in some future time, possibly, I can do that in the moment. But the journey, it's a journey. It's a step by step. And can I just be aware of that perspective a little bit sooner than the last time? Can I begin to think that way a little bit sooner than I did the last time? Because I know it to be true, because I see it in my life and I see it when I look retrospectively. So, and to be back to this blameless discernment. Can I be okay with myself that it's taking me some time to see it that way this time? It's okay. It's really okay. This is a big lift. And so you lift a little bit at a time, and it's okay.
What is it? What would you say to somebody who is struggling with that right now, or how do you encourage yourself to keep that mindset? Because I think that, you know, it's one thing to kind of read and to share and think about that mindset, but there are people that are really struggling and going through a lot of really, really intense things. And so what are some ways in which you think that we can keep this more alive, or how do you keep it alive for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, as I was saying, sometimes it is difficult. I'm not, and you might be so deep in it that it's not possible, and that's okay. It really is. I think that starting the day like this and having these kind of conversations, at least, is that sort of taking you back to ground zero, taking you back to ground zero, and the day goes on, and the stuff that is there in the day sort of piles up on you, and you take it back to ground zero. The other thing I was talking about, I was thinking about this a little bit this morning, is about giving yourself a little bit of relief from your head, from your mental, whether it's your mental constructs or the stories or your what you're telling yourself about what you're experiencing, to give yourself
Mm,
bits of relief from that. Chanting and actually hearing yourself, like actually, so back to, I think we were talking about this a couple of days ago, sort of this physical experience, give yourself the opportunity to be more present a little bit more. That for me this morning, it was like, okay, I can be on the shower and I can be listening something, but can I just be in the shower and just feel the water on as it hits my body,
mm,
feel myself soaping myself up, being really, really just here and deeply present in this moment of what's actually sort of happening, and feel the peace that brings.
mm,
And so even if to take the, I was brushing my teeth this morning. I can brush my teeth and I can space out. We all can space out or be thinking about
mm,
whatever it is that's on our minds. But the first moments in the morning as I'm brushing my teeth, am I actually feeling the toothbrush on my teeth? Can I actually just be really aware of what, and just try it. Just try
mm,
it and see, and just give yourself some moments of peace.
mm,
Moments of peace in the midst of whatever is going on. Just give yourself that gift, um,
mm.
to be just a little bit more present. Um,
Yeah. I thank you for saying that. That is something that I need to work on.
we all
I
do.
I read just something just this morning, that somebody was speaking about a problem. They were having this faux dialogue written down. Somebody saying the problem is, I can't figure out my life's purpose. And the response was, what if you made being in this moment fully your life's purpose? And the logic behind is that the pressure to have a singular life focus can thwart our ability to see that we're given an opportunity to live with purpose in every single moment. And so we sometimes think of like the meaning of my life is something outside and beyond that I need to achieve. But actually, like, how can I just tune in? And I think you're sharing that a little bit this morning when you're talking about just the rain and recognizing, wow, like we all need rain and it's just the beauty of the spring season and et cetera. And just being able to actually, like, when I'm going on that spiral of stories about pressure and anxiety and judgment. And it's not blameless discernment, but it's like hardcore judging and condemning. And then it's actually like I'm completely catapulted from just my present self of being in present moment. And I can get real. I like the word that you use, relief, because I think that there is a lot of relief in being able to just tune all that noise out and just, can I actually be present and attuned to what's going on right here, right now, and allow all of that other stuff to just kind of wash away. And I think that when we do that in a spiritual consciousness, in a God conscious way, we start to recognize Krishna's presence right there, right next to us. You know, we start to remember like, oh, wow, Krishna's in my heart. Oh, wow, like God is right here with me. God hasn't left me. Like I, in some ways, like took a side tour and like ran away from God who's in my heart by coming up with these stories and driving myself crazy. But I think we actually and Krishna gives us so many beautiful reminders in the Gita about ways in which we can remember him. He says, I'm the taste of water. I'm the original fragrance of the earth. I am of seasons, I'm flower bearing springs. That when we see something, we can be like, you know, Srila Prabhupada was many times asked this question, you know, can you see God? And there was different answers that he gave. One was, um, if I said yes, would you believe me? And another time the answer was like, what does it matter to you? um, you know, but we, and
Sorry.
so, yeah.
That's great.
Like,
That's
so
a
if
great.
I said yes, so what? How does that change your life?
Yeah,
But I think the ways we think, like, can you see God? And there's that beautiful, beautiful song by India Ari. Do you know India Ari, the
I
singer-songwriter,
do.
the musician? She wrote that song, God is Real. And I think I've shared it a long time ago or different times of the podcast. This song, God is Real, with the idea of like, I see water, I see fire, I see fish, I see flowers, I see so many things. And it's like, this is how I know God is real. Like, can you see God? Like, yes, I can see God right now. I can see God right now. I can't see God when I'm blinded by my anger and my judgment and my negative self images and stories and all the things that I tell myself about things. But I can see God if I pause and do exactly what you were saying, Brajrani, like just noticing what's going on in this moment.
Yeah. Something came and went. I
Something
think thoughts
came,
come and go.
thoughts came, come and go. And by the way,
Oh, I
Pastor did.
know. Yes, I know what it was. I think I was talking about this the other day. If we could also begin to cultivate, the word that gets used is prayer.
Mm,
The word I will use is just talking to God, just talking to Krishna.
just
Um,
shoot the breeze.
just a sort of like, even in the midst of it, even in the midst of it, Krishna, I have no idea why the hell you are putting me through this right now. I don't think I can handle it. You need to handle it for me because I just don't think I
Mm,
just don't understand. You know, that to the ability to have to just say that even in the midst of it. It's like, you know what? You got pictures of like Krishna, what is up? What is up, man? I just don't even understand what's up. Like to begin to have heartfelt conversations, acknowledging,
mm,
this the bird. If you've heard the analogy of the two birds in the on the tree on the same branch, and one of them is looking around here, there, and everywhere, and the other one's just there. So, like, can we turn and just say, like, look, bro, you're putting me through this, and I know because from my history, I know there's got to be something here, but I don't see it. And I need your help to go through it because this is more than I think I can bear. And oh, by the way, I don't get it. I don't know why you're doing it. I'm kind of pissed off with you for doing it. Whatever,
mm,
whatever. Or just like walking down the street going, hey, bro, we're out in the street. The rain feels good. Feel that weather. Like just to begin to have to be in dialogue. And I call that prayer. It's not asking,
mm,
sometimes it's asking for something, sometimes it's just talking like you would with a friend
mm,
in that moment. And if we can cultivate that in the harder times and the easier times, then at least
mm.
I think there's some solace there.
Yeah, that is beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Brajrani. Really, really, really appreciate that. We're going to turn it over to Kimberly, who's going to share a few takeaways for us, and then we're going to wrap it up today. What do you got for us, Kimberly?
All right, got some good takeaways today. Change your perspective and see how it changes how you feel. Don't disconnect the waves from the ocean. Every day can be a sacred pilgrimage if we carry the mood of spiritual consciousness. acknowledge the baby steps of progress, take it back to ground zero. Being present in our current moment can be our life purpose. And to ask Krishna, what is up, bro?
What's up, bro? Rajirani, what's your closing word?
My closing word is the waves, surfing the waves. I've been watching a lot about surfing lately and swells and this and that. It's really quite fascinating. Be fascinated by Krishna in the waves.
Yeah, definitely. I'm taking away, just look for Krishna in this moment. Where can I find Krishna? This is like a transcendental where's Waldo, but on a much higher level. Where is Krishna in this moment, and how is Krishna giving me, what's the gift Krishna is giving me right now, internally or externally? So thank you so much for that. Thank you, Rajirani. It's lovely speaking with you and getting a little bit of your perspective on your mornings and your day. And thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in and being with us. Really, really grateful for you. We got one more episode this week. Please tune in tomorrow. Rajirani will be with us, and we look forward to being with you then. Take care, everybody, and bye-bye.